It's no secret that Steve Jobs wasn't a big fan of the stylus. Nevertheless, at its big event, Apple released the Apple Pencil for the iPad Pro. With precise pressure sensitivity and low latency, the device looks pretty impressive. I chatted with Matthew and Greg after Apple's event about how the iPad Pro is catering to creatives with the new Apple Pencil.
I think that annotating Office Docs is a really solid use case for the enterprise, but the sketching applications that they showed off, we actually saw some demos from the guys behind Procreate behind the scenes in the demo areas, and they had worked with Apple to create this version of their app for the iPad Pro. And it was literally the artists that had worked with Apple to help create it were back there demoing the apps.
Whoa.
And they were turning out some incredible work. Just making you
I'd just be playing tic-tac-toe with it.
Yeah, exactly. And then I got a chance to play with the pencil hands-on and kind of scribble with it and do a little drawing, and it's pretty stellar. The response time is off the charts. It's nothing like the lag you normally see on an iPad. Actually, there's no lag. It's pretty much one-to-one tracking as far as I can see with my naked eye. I'm sure if you shot at high speed, maybe there's a little bit, but it's there, it's imperceptible in general. Great pressure sensitivity, kind of lighter pencil line, darker pencil line, that sort of thing. The pencil feels good. It's a good thickness. I like the 53 stylus, for instance, on the iPad, because usually for blocky, broader work, that's the way I use it. But this offers much more precision because of the tracking and sensitivity. It also has sensors that sense angle as well, so you can do a broader stroke or a thinner stroke by adjusting your angle towards the surface of the iPad in a way. But I've used my first Wacom had a serial port. I've been using Wacom tablets a long time, and this blows all of those away, and the Cintiq easily matches those. Those are the Wacom sort of computers, essentially tablet computers that have a display that you directly write on, which gives you the sort of one-to-one. Hey, I'm drawing on it, just like the iPad. But it's higher res and easily matches response time. It's very good. They did a good job with that thing.
I think my favorite demo by far, and it was one that was only on screen for maybe 5 seconds, is when they were mentioning that it can that the screen can differentiate between your hand and the pen at the same time. So they were moving a virtual ruler on the screen across a drawing pad or something, and then he traced alongside of it with the stylus at the same time. And it just looks so neat just to see him manipulating both, and it didn't interact, it didn't conflict. It wasn't. As he was dragging his hand across, it wasn't throwing up random lines like you would expect it to. It was really cool.
Yeah, and there have been other styluses with some sort of basic sensors, but that amount of precision plus the differentiation between digits and a stylus all at once, it's a good combo. They thought it out. They did their homework on it. It looks like it's going to be an interesting entrant into that, into that world.
Yeah.
So.
When you're kind of talking about the pressure sensitivity of the Apple Pencil, were you a little surprised that they didn't implement 3D force? Right, is that 3D force on the
3D touch?
3D touch.
It's
3D touch
okay.
on the
it's just their jargon.
Exactly.
But they said that the screen does have some modifications to recognize the stylus, and that they do work together. So this is not something where they got a new pen and put it on the iPad, right? Or pencil, whatever the hell you want to call it, and put it on the iPad. So I don't believe. They only demoed it on the Pros.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
And I haven't asked yet, but I'm not sure if it works on the other iPads at all. It may work like a regular stylus, but it may not have all the advanced features.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see how much of that functionality works on the older iPads.